I think our game today really showed that we have a long way to go to be able to match Europe's elite. We have the finances and we have the stadium and we have some of the names to suggest that we are in that bracket. But from what I saw today, we can't hold a candle to those clubs. We can't match it with Bayern. And I don't think it's about talent, because if you ask many people, Arsenal have a very talented squad. We have a squad that is capable of doing anything on its day. I think the question here is effort and teamwork. You saw such lackadaisical efforts from our boys today, and it was compounded by a lack of teamwork. A lack of backing up and supporting, your fellow teammate, and a lack of communication. And these things were all exacerbated by a lack of want, a lack of effort. And that's why we saw 5-1. We didn't see 5-1 because Bayern Munich had, 5 times better than us. We saw 5-1 because we weren't willing to put in for 90 minutes. When the going got tough, when we lost a goal, went down 2-1, everyone's heads dropped. And we just capitulated, and it was unacceptable. I think Arsene Wenger needs to go, and it's not because I think that the manager is responsible for everything that goes wrong. I think first of all, 21 years is a very long time to have one vision. I think that what happened in 1996 and the reasoning behind Arsene Wenger getting the job is different than what the reason would be today. I think his methods and his approaches to game day are old and out of touch with what's expected today. I think that Arsene is a very stubborn manager. He just wants to play his style, irrespective of the result. You saw Leicester City last year. Leicester City were a team who cared, who put in effort, and who did anything to win, did anything for the cause. They backed each other up. They supported each other. Before last year, Leicester City couldn't. You wouldn't recognise most of the starting 11 walking down the street. No one knew who they were, except maybe some die-hard Premier League fans and Leicester fans. Danny Drinkwater wouldn't know who he is last year. Year before last, wouldn't know who he is, but he formed a great partnership with N'Golo Kante, and they showed that they were willing to put in effort and give their all for the cause. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Scored a goal, defended. And it wasn't always pretty, but they did what they had to do within the laws of the game to win the Premier League. And that's we're not willing to do that. It's something that you shouldn't go into a match thinking. Go into a match open-minded. Go into a match thinking about the possibilities, about what we need to do to win, not what's going to look the best on TV. And I think that's why Arsene needs to go. Mesut Ozil is someone who needs a great supporting cast around him, who will sort of help elevate him up and give him the confidence. But you've got to be more than that as a player. I understand why Mesut Ozil is the way Mesut Ozil is, but you can't be that way. When you're playing Europe's elite, you can't expect everyone else around you to be at their best all the time, and you can't expect to have superstars in every single position. Sometimes there might be a couple areas where you could improve. Mesut Ozil, his body language and just his laconic stature, it's not acceptable, because it makes fans pissed off. It makes his other players drop their heads. They need him to be a leader. He needs to be someone who leads by example, and then and then acts on it. And you don't have that. I think we've got a long way to go. I think this is a prime example of where Arsenal is at as a club. We're very solid domestically. We'll always finish in the top four. We'll always be thereabouts in Europe. We'll always be playing group stage and things like that. We'll always be a top 20 European club, I think. But right now, we're not anywhere near Europe's absolute elite. We're not anywhere near Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich. It just isn't happening. I think we need a change. I think 21 years for Arsene Wenger is too much. He's been a fantastic servant of the club, but I think that we need a new direction. And I'm not advocating change for change's sake. I'm advocating change because change is needed. It is needed. We need to be refreshed. We need a fresh perspective. We need someone who's a bit more youthful and a bit more understanding of what's required in today's game. Some people reckon Allegri, some people reckon Eddie Howe from Bournemouth, some people reckon Simeone if he wants, but I'm not sure. I don't have the answers, and I'm pretty sure that most Arsenal fans don't have the answers to succeed either, but we know that what is going on now is not acceptable, and certainly what happened tonight was unacceptable. This should not be happening for a club with Arsenal's status in global football. It just should not happen. And the fact that it is tells every supporter, and should be telling the board, that change is needed.